came that night in 1993, when all that evil stepped out of the TV and took a walk around town. The worst day of my life was a Sunday, and it happened in a little town called Windsor, out on the Carolina coast. Now back then, Windsor was home to less than 2,000 people and was your average backwoods North Carolina town. We had a grocery store, a gas station, a Bojangles, and the peanut factory. And then aside from a few churches and chapels that surrounded the town, that was pretty much it. It was quiet and neighborly. Murder wasn't a word that you heard spoken around Windsor, and you only ever heard it on the radio or on television. But then came that night in 1993, when all that evil stepped out of the TV and took a walk around town. It was the evening of June 6th, and I was down at the Birdie County Sheriff's office about a mile south of town. The Birdie County Jail is down there too, and after collecting some paperwork from one of the deputies over there, I was sitting at my desk just quietly filling it out when we suddenly heard dispatch over our radios. It was the quietest day of the week, so I don't think anyone was expecting anything more than a civil dispute or a minor accident. So when we heard the codes for a man with a gun or multiple deaths, there was this split second where I was convinced that there had been some kind of mistake. But when I saw my fellow deputies running out of the office and towards their cars, I knew that there was no mistake. It was real. I followed the other deputies out into the parking lot, jumped into my cruiser, and then we sped off in a rough convoy towards the grocery store on the north side of town. Now, this grocery store is called B-Low, as in a play on the words be low, as in the prices here be low, and it rivaled the local churches in terms of places folks could congregate and converse. And so, knowing the three deceased were most likely people I knew, maybe even friends of mine, that was already a tough pill to swallow during that rush towards the store. And when we arrived, the place was all closed and locked up since they closed early on Sundays, and we still had next to no idea what to expect. The 911 call that had come into dispatch was from a wounded survivor of whatever had happened, and with them being in so much pain, they couldn't go into too much detail. We only knew that there were bodies, a man with a gun, and survivors who desperately needed our help. The B-Low had these glass panel windows all the way along the front, so on the approach, you could see this long trail of blood going from the front to the back of the store.